Welcome to the Alternative Dog Moms Podcast. I'm Kimberly Gauthier, creator of Keep the Tail Wagging. I've been blogging about raw feeding, pet wellness, and life as a crazy dog mom for more than 10 years. I've seen massive improvements in my dog's health since I began raising my dogs naturally, and I'm passionate about sharing my experience to help other pet parents.
I'm Erin Scott from the Believe in Dog podcast. For more than 10 years, I've been researching and learning everything I can about healing cancer, allergies, autoimmune, and mystery illnesses in both my dogs and myself. And I can't wait to share with you everything I've learned in case it could help you too. As the Alternative Dog Moms, Kimberly and I are bringing you all the latest dog health news that we're following and the brilliant people we're meeting along the way. Now let's get started.
Woohoo!
Hello, Kimberly!
Hello, Erin. We did it.
I do. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
I know it's probably been like a couple of weeks, but it feels like it's been a month or so.
I know.
I feel like I haven't seen you since Thanksgiving, and I know that isn't true, but it feels
Yeah, but we haven't had a one-on-one, like it's just us.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
So we have a lot to talk about.
So how are you? How are the dogs?
So I don't think I have announced on the podcast yet that I'm changing my career. And today was my last day working as a paralegal after 25 years. And after 22 years of working with my boss, and he is retiring. So that's the main impetus for me leaving. But I now work for Wolf Creek.
That is so exciting, and I'm so happy for you. That's got to be so scary because you're like making a total pivot, but you're pivoting right into what we love doing.
Yes.
I mean, and it's like you're taking everything that you've done for the past 25 years and using it. I mean, it's so exciting, but yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. It was a very emotional day. And so I cleaned out my office, and I had stuff in my office that I had completely forgotten about because it's like stuff I had moved from office to office over 25 years. And so I had some stuff, I didn't even have it sitting out anywhere. It was kind of like in this like little folder thing. And it was what's it called? A favor from my wedding shower. So Tim and I have been married, this year was our 20th wedding anniversary. So, my bridal shower would have been over 20 years ago. And it was chocolate. It looked like this chocolate rose bush and like a potted plant. And so that part was wrapped in foil and had like crispy chocolate in it. And then it was kind of like this decorative edible icing that looked like a flower on top. And it was like attached with this plastic stick. And I'm telling you this because I got home and I had it all in this bag of stuff that I brought in.
Oh.
And I had it sitting out in the living room, and I come in to hug Tim, and I hear chomp, chomp, chomp. And I come running out, and Daisy Girl has eaten this 20-year-old chocolate.
She's just telling you, stop living in the past.
I mean, at least she didn't eat the foil. But she ate the edible icing and the chocolate that had been in foil. And I mean, this was in like 2.3 seconds. I don't even know how fast this happened. And I'm like, that can't even have been good. So I'm waiting to see if we have any GI distress from this.
Oh, but, why can't we ever have nice things?
I know. I have like a handful of like sentimental things, and then I end up putting them through the washer or the dogs eat them.
Well, it's funny. Years and years ago when Rodrigo was young, we had a chocolate cake. And I'm guessing that I probably got the chocolate cake for Johan for a birthday. I got it from the store, a round cake. And I think there were probably 2 or 3 slices left. You know how it's the triangle?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember walking into the room, looking at it, and I swear I'm like the person that if something happens, I hope the police don't look to me as being a good eyewitness because I don't know what happened. I was looking in the other direction, and I don't know, because I walked through and I looked at the cake, but it didn't register, just like there's cake, and I kept going, and then I came back in a room, and I just knew that the cake looked different. And I couldn't tell why it looked different. It just looked different. And then finally I look at Rodrigo and I'm just like looking at him and I just start smelling his breath. And I'm like, I think I can smell chocolate in there. And so I look at his teeth and there's chocolate in his teeth. And I'm like, Rico. And I'm looking at the cake because the cake is perfectly, I mean, it doesn't look like a dog went and took a bite out of a cake, but somehow we had it sliced. He took a big slice and he ate it. And this is, we were newly in this house, probably the first couple years in this house. So he was probably about 3 years old or so. And I remember just panicking because, dogs aren't supposed to eat chocolate. And I looked up the poison control line. And I don't know if this is like the real one, but the one that I found charges you to
Yeah.
talk to someone. So I was like, well, that's not going to work. And I think I ended up calling like some veterinarian office, and they were like, well, what type of cake was it? And I was like, it's just regular chocolate cake. And they're like, well, was it dark chocolate? And it's like, ew, no, because I don't like dark chocolate. And then they're like, good. And they're like, don't worry about it. Just watch him for like what you're doing. And then he should be fine. And at the same time, I was remembering that my friend, Tina, she has she has a craft room. And in that room was tons of chocolate from a holiday that she was going to do, like Easter or something. And two of her labs got in there and basically ate all the and it was tons of it, and they were fine. So I was just like, oh, well, and he was fine. Not that I'm suggesting that people give their dogs chocolate, but it's just like,
For bigger dogs, and it's a
yeah.
little bit, like, you're usually all right. And I did give her an activated charcoal capsule because I happen to have some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, our old gal Kahlua once broke down the closet door in this room that I'm in and got to chocolate bars that Tim had ordered from me for, like, Valentine's Day or something. Like, we went out to dinner, we came home, we're like, "Oh my god, how Kahlua, like, shut herself in this room?" And then we realized, oh, she had gotten in this room, like, shut the door because you have to shut the door to get to the closet, managed to get into the closet and get to these chocolate bars and eat them. And she had, like, a really fast, like, tachycardia heart rate for, like, a long time, and one of my vet tech friends was like, "Just go get a bunch of activated charcoal."
Yeah. I know. I keep it on hand. It's so funny because when I learned about activated charcoal, I was like, I'm going to keep that on hand. And I have a tackle box that's my first aid kit.
Mhm.
And it's funny because, I mean, not that I'm complaining, but I've only had to use it once in
That's good.
years. So it's like I should probably go and throw it out and get some new stuff because I literally, so I've been very fortunate. But it's crazy how dogs pay attention. It's like what Tori said, that they pay attention to us and they are learning, and
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're like, well, how did you even know? But it's just like astounding to
And
me.
she also, last week ate the pocket out of one of my hoodies because I had accidentally left some treats in it. And I was like, "Oh, she thought that was like a newswork game."
I have a sweatshirt, and it's like my night sweatshirt, and it says dog snuggling shirt, and our rescue has a ton of these, and they come in like red and a rose color, a gray color, and a black color. And all of us have them. We love them. But mine has a huge hole about this big on the side. And then underneath one of the arms, it's like some little holes. And I told the executive director, I'm like, the craftsmanship on the latest hoodie is questionable because, and I told her about the holes, and she was like, no, that's your little vampire slayer. Just because she does, before I leave the house, if I'm going to be gone for more than a few hours, I have to walk around and put stuff away because she's going to look for things that smell like me. And sometimes she'll just walk around with them. Sometimes she will destroy them. And so I come home and found my clothes, scattered around because it's like, and I mean, it's taught me to put things away, but it's just like now it's like, I don't sew. but now I have to, because I love this sweatshirt and there's nothing else wrong with it except for the hole. And so I can't replace it. So I'm just going to sew it up. But speaking of sewing, not really, I've started cooking and I'm like so proud of myself
Good.
because I'm not cooking for the dogs, which is Johan is very relieved because I think for Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving, I think actually before Thanksgiving, I didn't thaw food out. And it was just like, oh crap. But I had some like food in the freezer, like, I had some ground beef and I had eggs and I had vegetables. And I was just like, oh, I'll just throw all of this into the pressure cooker and make some dog food. And so Johan's like looking at me and he's like, oh, this is for the dogs. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I guess I should stop asking because only time you're in the kitchen cooking is when you're doing it for the dogs. And I'm just like, it's not true. So I challenged myself to start cooking twice a week, every week. And I've gotten pretty good. I kick ass at making prime rib now. I just cooked chicken today and I'm quite proud of myself. So now our kitchen, the dogs no longer come into the kitchen when I go into the kitchen because there's no guarantee that I'm doing something for them. So that's pretty nice.
I always laugh that they live with hope, they'll just kind of hang out, one or the other of them will hang out by like the entrance to the kitchen. And
Yeah.
it's like, I always say they're supervising.
Oh, so this is interesting. I thought of you yesterday. Buffy is a year old. She turned a year at the beginning of the first week or second week of
Wow.
December. And so she had to get her annual booster shots. So I went in and boy, I was prepared for the, the hardcore press on vaccines. And they asked if I wanted to do the lepto vaccine. And I was just like, no, I don't think so. And they left and I quickly pulled out my phone because one thing I've always meant to do but haven't done is look for not so much about whether a dog needs a lepto or what it covers. I already know that. What I wanted to know is where are the outbreaks in this country, because that's something that I've never heard. I haven't heard like on the news, like with the canine flu. That's something that's come up in articles on the news, but not lepto. So it's just like, where is this happening? And I found that it is not something, not to say that it hasn't come up in Washington, but it's just not something that's widespread in Washington. I can't 100% remember everything that I learned, but basically, I mean, we're told if you're around wildlife, if there's standing water,
Yeah.
which you would think we would have in the Pacific Northwest, but, like we have a pond, but our pond isn't stagnant. It's constantly moving. We do, we can have standing waters, like there could be puddles, but that's not something that my dogs come across because of where I walk them. We don't go places where there's marshy lands and things like that. So I just figure, you know what? The risk is so low and it has been low for the entire time I've had dogs. I am not going to do this. I'm going to stick to the regular vaccines and leave it at that. And then, of course, I like to stretch them out. I don't do every 3 years. I do every 5 years. So my dogs get puppy, annual booster, and then probably one more round of vaccines before they hit their senior years. And I'm comfortable with that. But Buffy wasn't a fan of the vet, but she tried to hide under a chair. She was not a fan. But I kept her there because my friends work at this clinic. So I made sure that she got tons of love from them. So she didn't think it was, a horrible situation. But the other thing was the push for flea and tick meds, not tick, but flea meds. And they're like, do you want to get flea meds today? And I was just like, no, we're good. And they're like, well, we really should think about getting this. We need to do it year round because fleas are a real problem. And I was just like, you know what? What's funny is that we don't have a problem with fleas, which we don't. I mean, we do get fleas, like it does come up, but it's usually like I get a couple of bites and it's like, oops, there's a flea problem. And I spray everyone down and I basically wash the bedding and vacuum the floor, any carpet. And then we just flea problem, averted. Maybe a week later I'll do it again because of the eggs, but it's never turns into this out and out where we need to flea bomb the house and stay away for 8 hours or anything like that. But I was really surprised at the push to, get this extra vaccine and to get the flea meds, especially. I mean, I know that fleas can be year round, but in the Pacific Northwest in December, it's not really something
Yeah.
that I'm worried about. But and my vet bill for booster vaccines, and that's it, $180.
I believe it.
So it's just like, it's expensive out there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, hence, I understand why they were like, "Hey, you want some flea meds?" It's like, "No, thank you."
Yeah, I have actually seen a dog that had lepto here in Baltimore at one of our clinics, and he was so jaundiced that the white of his belly was yellow,
Oh, wow.
and it was really scary, and we had to be like, "We are not able to treat you here, like, you need to get to a vet," and we were actually able to kinda find them some place that they could go, but it was really freaky, and we believe it was from rats.
Mm.
So,
Really?
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was kind of a strange situation. So based on what we could gather, that was our best guess, was
Yeah.
the dog had been kept in, like, a basement somewhere, and they think that there had been
Mm.
rats. So, yeah, like, it's a weird lepto's a weird one because I don't think that you get, like, outbreaks of it like you do. I think it comes more from, like, the environment of, yeah, like,
Yeah.
funky water, or, like, rats or wildlife or something, like,
Yeah.
exposures, but that's literally, I mean, I was just doing up all of our year-end statistics. We've seen over 6,000 dogs since we started doing our clinics several, over, well, almost 15 years ago now, and that's the only time I've ever seen this come up, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
wow. Well, it's interesting because I think the reason why people are so like, they're pushing that vaccine is because what's the word? Is it zoonotic? Where it's a zoonotic disease where it can jump from dogs to humans, and
Yes.
so that's one of the concerns, and the thing about it is that I don't doubt because, like, my friend, if she were doing the vaccine, she would be like, "Kimberly, I really think you need to do this, especially where you live." Because we have deer coming through, uh, we don't have I thought we had bear coming through. We don't have bear. It's deer, coyotes. We had the otters, or no, actually, they weren't otters. I think they were muskrats in the pond this summer. And so we do have wildlife, rabbits, but what we don't have is standing water. And Johan did a really great job this summer and last summer and basically recoded our driveway. And we have one of those, like, you drive down a driveway, very long driveway. And he recoded the entire driveway, and it took him forever. And he flattened out any areas that would gather water. And he didn't do that for the dogs. He did it because we just didn't want that. And then when I go out, there's still one area, and for some reason, it just bugs me. And also, I think about the whole standing water thing. I go and I empty it out, and I just take a broom and brush the water out so it doesn't stay stagnant. But the deer very rarely come near the house, not to say that it's not a risk, but they rarely come near the house. And again, we just don't have marsh places. There's a property where we could walk our dogs on. This property is sort of like you walk towards a dog park. And so you can go and be in the off-leash dog park, or you can just walk on leash all around this huge, gigantic field. And the reason why I stopped going there was because it's very marshy, and the standing water there just made me a little bit nervous about the risk. And, not just with that disease.
Giardia.
Yeah, exactly. You have all of these dogs, and you do not know what it's just not worth it, especially since I'm lucky enough to have 5 acres. I'd rather just stick with my 5 acres. There was and I was doing sniff spots. Well, I go to my friends. I have several friends who have lots of property, so I can take my dogs to their property and they can run around, and it's safe. But I was doing sniff spots as well. But someone told me that they now require a
Monthly.
a subscription,
Yeah.
which is, I mean,
Yeah, that was a turn off.
Yeah, I can't commit to something like that because
Yeah, like I don't use it enough
yeah,
to.
it's usually something that is like, ooh, let's do this type of thing. And so,
Yeah, it's
so
like maybe like a twice a year thing. Yeah.
exactly. So, but yeah, it's just like saw something recently, and I don't think you sent it to me. Maybe you did because you always send me such great stuff. Maybe, yeah, you did send it to me. Did you send it to me? Uh, but it was I don't know if it was an article. You did send this to me, an article about about an investigation into the cost of vet bills. And
Yes, it was sort of a convoluted thing that like
yeah,
the article didn't match like the graphic that like was being shared with it. Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of, and it was one of those where I sometimes when I read some of these articles, it was actually kind of hard to read with all the ads on it,
Yes.
which
Yes.
made me kind of happy that another reason I keep patting myself on the back. I'm glad I shut down my blog because those ads are very I mean, I know I had ads on my blog, but I've never, when I would go to my blog because of the way it was formatted, I wouldn't see the ads because I
Mhm.
own the blog. So I don't know how it came across.
Yours was
And
never like that.
okay, good. Because I would get complaints, but in the years that I had ads, I've gotten 2 complaints from people. So, but yeah, this was like you're trying to find what is an ad and what is an article, and it just felt, and because you're doing that, it kept stopping the flow of reading it.
Yes.
So it was just like, what is going on here? But one thing that felt it felt like they had already determined that the reason why vet bills are so high are because vets are greedy, and so we need to figure out why they're being so greedy. Where it's just sort of like, no, that's kind of not how the economy works. I mean, it can work that way, but I don't think veterinarians across the country have all decided, hey, let's gouge these pet parents because, they love their animals. There are other aspects of the pet industry that I do believe they say that, but I don't think it's the veterinarians. Because again, I have yet to see a veterinarian. Again, not to say there aren't any that do this, but in my area, my veterinarians aren't driving, Humvees and living in mansions. So it's just like, it's just, but my thing is that, we need to, why don't we start at, what's the real estate like? How much does it cost to have the clinic? How much does it cost what taxes are they paying for employees? And if they offer benefits, how much does that cost for their employees? And then how much does it cost for like the equipment and everything that they need in there? What is the licensing and all of that they have to do? Not to mention the education,
So
which
that yeah, that's
there's
what I got out of it.
yeah, I mean, it's just like what there's all of these costs. I mean, they have to pay these student loans back at some point in time.
Yeah, it like what I was getting out of it was that there's an investigation into the requirements that the AVMA puts
Mhm.
out to vet schools for vet schools to become accredited, because in order for you to like get your veterinary license you have to have graduated from an accredited
Mhm.
veterinary school. And so it's like saying that the AVMA puts all these things on the vet schools, like that they have to have all these equipment and they have to have all these different programs, and that it's inflating the cost of vet schools, and then inflating the cost, of loans and
Yeah.
like that was, and I was like kind of like, because yeah, it was sort of being advertised in your social media feed as like, yeah, kind of like people are
We're
like,
gonna get
vets are
these
so
vets.
greedy.
We're
Yeah.
gonna get these vets.
But it like, when you read the article, it was kinda like, well, this is sorta convoluted.
Mhm. Yeah, it was kind of all over the place as far as, and, you know, pet parents are, concerned about the cost of going to the vet. And it kind of, I don't know this for sure, but when I started it, and it could be because of the title and everything, I'm just sort of like, well, wait a minute, what's wrong with the vets? And then as I'm going through, it starts touching, and again, all the ads made it
Yeah,
really just you're all over the place where you're trying to figure this out. And I went to the comments, and boy, the veterinarians were not happy.
yeah,
They were not happy at all. And I don't much blame them because they're catching it from all sides, and it's a very exhausting job to have. And what astounded me is, I've made a commitment to try and avoid certain comment streams, because as far as adding my thoughts to it, because it's like this is a toxic place that I do not need to be. But one person who said, "Well, having pets is a luxury." I was just like, that is brave and bold of you, because you're about to be lit on fire. and, but it's just kind of like, I'm grateful that there are so many people who are taking it amongst themselves to not only educate themselves about their own pets, but share what they're learning with other people. Because how many times do we go to the vet where we actually could have taken care of it at home? I mean, just like with you and the chocolate. I mean, there are so many things that we probably, 15, 20 years ago, that would have been a vet issue. Whereas today, we're like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, if one of my dogs has diarrhea, I mean, it doesn't even faze me. When um, Buffy started showing signs of allergies, didn't faze me. Whereas when Rodrigo was showing allergies, which I didn't really understand if that's what it was, I was in and out. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of dollars with no solution, just making it worse and worse.
And how many
And
people are going through that right now? And even higher
exactly.
costs, because everything is getting
Exactly.
higher.
Well, and that's the scariest part, is that it is so much higher. And with Rodrigo, his issues were made worse to the point where now I had to work with a vet.
Mm.
And I had to work, now I'm working with holistic vets, because it's like traditional isn't working. So that's even a higher cost. And again, going through, like, I recently did an article about, joint health with senior dogs and what works, what doesn't work. And going through and understanding all the different things that we're told are great for joints, which is like, maybe, a little tiny bit. Yes, chicken feet are, but it's not going to move the dial if your dog has arthritis. I mean, it's a great treat and it's a great snack, but I wouldn't say, "Hey, well, we'll go ahead and buy you a case of chicken feet." That's not going to do it. And not that I would do that, but the reason why I started down that rabbit hole was because of golden pace. Because I'm like, does golden pace really work? Because I just was feeling like I just don't really feel like it's making a difference with Zoe, and I was actually buying golden paste rather than making it, because I lost my source of turmeric. And I'm just sort of like, I would rather spend this money elsewhere on something that I know works, rather than something that I can't tell if it works or not. And switching from that and focusing more on, like, UC2, like when we interviewed Dr. Christine and Job,
Mhm.
and going for a therapeutic dosage of salmon oil instead of what the bottle says, and understanding what a therapeutic dose looks like for my dog, and seeing, as I make these changes, seeing a huge difference in her mobility. And I mean, she's still not, she's not racing and jumping like the other dogs, but she's ready for her walk. She came and demanded her walk yesterday, and she's running around and playing, and so it's like, it's working. But again, it's just like, and I'm also able to do this without subjecting her to harsh, pain meds, which then come with side effects. But those are the type of things where I don't even know why I started talking about this, but those are the type of things where we're learning um, online in these communities. And it's hard because not everything out there is good information. You have to filter through the influencers who are being paid to promote a product, and figuring out what actually will and won't work for your dog. So it's not quite easy, but again, when she was limping 10 years ago, that would have been a vet appointment.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, well, my dog is getting old, and so let's see what we can do. And yeah.
So It's the end of the year. Are you doing anything for New Year's? Are you CBDing your dogs up?
I'm CBDing my dogs up. I have a very strong CBD product. And so everyone, Buffy has decided that uh, um, fireworks are horrible, and we will be outside and she'll hear a boom far in the distance that the other dogs don't even relate to, but she is like zooming towards the house. She now sleeps on one night she slept on my head because it's like she's so afraid of she's just not a fan of them. So everyone is getting CBD'd up. I am going to be watching Stranger Things, the final few episodes of Stranger Things, and just chilling at home. And then I have the rest of the week off, so I'm been working on content for 2026.
All
I'm
right.
excited about that. What about you?
Yeah, just trying to keep the dogs calm. With her, I find we have to, like, play music and play tug and jump all around and have fun when all the fireworks are going off 'cause, uh, no amount of CBD seems to help.
Yeah, that's another thing is, like, I'm going to the pet store tomorrow for the New Year's, sale and getting some treats because one thing that works, I mean, knock on wood, it's worked every year since I learned this trick, which is every single time there's a boom, I say boom, and I just get excited and get everyone a treat. And after an hour or so of doing that, the dogs start seeing the booms as a like, "Oh, okay, where's the treat, lady?"
Yeah.
Until they finally just chill and relax. And then it's like, if I can just get them to a point where I can watch a movie. I mean, Stranger Things isn't super loud like an action movie, but they have loud music.
Mhm.
So I think I'll watch that. And then if that doesn't give me what I need, I'll just put it off until the next day and I'll turn on some type like Marvel is pretty loud. Any type of action movie. I was hoping that it would rain. It's not gonna rain tomorrow, but it's gonna rain on Thursday.
Mm.
So I'm hoping and it's gonna basically rain for a week. So
Oh
I'm
god.
hoping that we'll just we'll just have, like, maybe one night of fireworks and the rest of the time, people are gonna be like, "Oh, darn, it's raining. I can't do fireworks." Luckily, it's not next to us. It's far off in the distance. So
It's
we're
like literally everyone in my neighborhood.
yeah, so I have no complaints because, yeah, we don't have the people behind us have dogs, the people next to us have dogs. The woman across from us is retired and she's like, yeah, she's not outside setting off fireworks.
Yeah.
It's just so for the most part, I'm hoping that it'll be okay. We do have new neighbors. Like the lady across from us has new neighbors, so I don't know what their firework game is. So hopefully we'll see. But I just wish that they would make them illegal.
I know.
I
Or
just
at
can't.
least make them silent.
The silent ones, like in Italy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, that's all I ask. You can still
Mhm.
have them, but
I don't think the people around here use them because of the sparkly colors. I think they like the boom.
yeah. La boom.
Mm. It's just like, ugh. And so, yeah, that's about it. Mm. So I did a post today about
Okay.
things that I learned in
Oh,
2026. So what's a few things that you learned in, I'm not 2026, 2025?
well, I mean, the big one's gotta be Dr. Susan Recker talking about the vitamin and the minerals and what happens if you're not feeding the recommended amount of food for your dog, and that's what you helped me with running
Mhm.
Nino's diet and finding his deficiencies. I mean, to me, that's, like, the huge thing for this
Yeah.
year.
My big one, I mean, there were many, many things, but the big one that really made a huge change was Carter with the giving the mushrooms twice a day rather than once a day.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they only last for 12 hours. So, that immediate change that I made. And, I mean, there are other things that I learned. I mean, at the Feed Real Summit, Dr. Connor Brady, did his presentation on fiber, and he talked about how there's really no evidence that vegetables are a good source of fiber for dogs. The fiber that they need is going to be from fur and feathers.
Oh.
And I remember when that happened, and I remember when he did the presentation. I think even at one point he's like, "And don't everyone run back and say Carter or not Carter?
Connor.
Connor said not to feed our dogs vegetables." It's like that's not what I'm saying. It's just like that's not the only thing that you should be doing. And so, because of the Real Dog Box, I always have something that has fur in the house now, and my dogs do get it on a regular basis. So that was big. I'm trying to think of everything that I said in that, the post.
Well, I since I'm working with Wolf Creek now, I've been learning about non-fish sources of omega-3 fatty acids that are good for dogs. Like, for instance, flax isn't like the best, flaxseed oil is not like the best option. So I've really been nerding out about the algal oil and the ahi flour that they have now. And so that's been like fun for me to learn.
Okay, so I have questions.
Okay.
So with the plant-based oils, because they say that since they are more ALA, and so they have to be converted to do DHA and EPA
For the ahi flour, yes.
for the ahi flour, but not for the algae oil.
Correct.
Right. And so for the ahi, is it something that's recommended for a dog that just strictly has sensitivities to anything that comes out of the sea, basically?
I mean, you can use it for any dog, but I guess they really like offering ones for dogs that are sensitive to
Yeah.
various proteins. And for instance, I haven't tried the ahi flour yet. I actually just ordered it and to try, with our dogs, but I really love using the algae oil because, Nina's kind of a sensitive guy and we've been careful with him with fats in the
Mm.
past and like he like had no issues with the algae oil
Nice.
at all. And we started like really, really slow and like worked our way up. And with him being my older guy and having, the joint stuff, like, it's like I wanted him on a more therapeutic dose, and I give her a little less, kind of give her like the half dose, and he does like he's done so great on it, and I'm just like I don't even know if I'll try the other one because it's like I don't want to change anything, he's doing so well and he's stable and he's had good results on this, so.
Oh, that's so good. So yeah, that's always been my question about the different ones is like, am I going to have to use more of it because it's not as much but I like the idea because I know that I'm trying a oil. This is my second time trying it. I don't think I'll try it again. And it's a really great oil. And I only say that because I'm not going to name it. But it's not that it's a bad product. It's just not good for Zoe. And I have to be so careful about how much I give her so I know she's not getting enough
Mhm.
of what she needs because of it. And so I'm always looking for something. And I like the idea of what you're saying because it's like if it's too much, then she gets digestive issues. So, because she does really well on like Lifeline products, which is what I usually get, but I wanted to just try something different. And what I found is with this new one, I have to give her more in order for her to get what she needs as compared to the other one. But when I
Mhm.
give her more, even if I slowly increase it, she ends up with just horrible digestive issues.
No, my dogs tend towards constipation more than diarrhea. It's been a long time since I've seen like diarrhea.
Oh, lucky you. Zoe, like last time she had it, it was like pretty explosive. It was pretty bad. So she was like coming and finding me going, I gotta go out. And it was just like, oh my gosh. And we're just over and over and over again, just going outside. And it's like, I'm so sorry, my sweet girl.
Aw.
That was the end. That was the end of that.
So what else was the story of the year? Because I can think of a big one. It wasn't something I learned, but it was the story of the year.
What are you thinking of?
Well, that certain influencers decided to.
I was thinking about that earlier, and it feels like that was so long ago that I thought that was last year, but it was this year when they did that huge long video. where because I did my response to it in my new office, and that was finished this year. So, yeah, you know what's funny? I mean, granted, I stopped following them, but I never see,
I
just
know,
because you
I
don't
never
follow
see
some,
anything
yeah,
anymore, I know.
yeah, just because you don't follow something doesn't mean that they won't come through your stream. And I haven't seen their things in my stream on any platform. And so, I don't want to look them up because I don't want the algorithm to be like, oh, so
Start
you want to see
showing you them.
this? So, I don't know if they're still around or not. I mean, I'm guessing that they are, but it's funny because I have mixed feelings about them. Um, on one, I find it frustrating when people like, you can change your mind about things. That's fine. If tomorrow you told me, you know what, I'm not going to feed raw anymore, I'd just be like, okay. I mean, that's your business. But if you told me tomorrow, well, I'm not going to feed raw because, I had a dream and, this, I don't know, what is it? Jane Goodall came to me in a dream and told me da 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 da. Then I would just be like, oh, okay, so Erin's crazy now. And and it's just like, if you're going to make a change and you're going to, I mean, yeah, I think especially if you have, like with me, I have basically staked my flag on raw feeding. So if I someday come out and say I'm not going to do this anymore, I do owe the people who follow me and give time to me an explanation as to why. But to take that moment of explaining and blame everyone else instead of taking responsibility for the fact that I changed my mind, whether it be because it doesn't pay enough or because I can't afford it. I mean, there are so many reasons that they could have given that were true for their situation, because he said he was going back to college and so money was tight. It's like you could have stopped right there. But instead, you chose to blame, not blame, but you chose to basically demonize holistic health and raw feeding and everything without zero evidence. I mean, your evidence was basically a social media doctor who got in trouble during COVID for having a party on a yacht for his birthday. And, and granted, that doesn't mean he's a bad doctor, but I just sort of like, if that's your only source, and the fact that you don't like, RFK Jr., and, because, he changed his mind about vaccines. And it's like, but didn't you just change your mind about, I don't understand, make it make sense, please. I lost so much respect.
And you forgot that, that he tried the raw milk diet.
Yeah, the raw milk diet for a month, and so that must mean it's terrible for, dogs, and it's like, dude, you just drank raw milk I mean, did you need to? Were you sick? Because the only time I've ever seen someone talk about doing the raw milk diet is because someone was sick and they were talking about how doing this corrected an illness. I didn't see it as just like, "Hmm, I'm just curious," and it's just like, if I decide to just eat fried chicken and nothing but fried chicken for a month and then I gain weight, I don't get all of a sudden just start telling everyone, knocking the chicken out of everyone's hands and being like, this is dangerous. Do you know what this will do to you? No, it doesn't work that way. It's just, I don't know. I think and what frustrated me the most were the comments, because we live in this world, it feels, where people lack critical thinking skills and people are not willing to stop and just go, what? Especially when it's someone that they respect and admire. And I get it. There are people who I respect and admire. When they come out with something, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because it's like, well, they haven't led me wrong before. But at some point in time, it's like you have to say, like, if someone is telling you that something is bad, but they won't give you any details, and when you ask for studies and they gaslight you or they insult you or they block you, that should raise so many red flags. And instead, people were like, thank you so much for being honest. It was just sort of like, all I saw was, I want to do better for my dog, but I can't for whatever reason do better for my dog. But since now you've basically dialed it back for your dog, I feel better about what I'm doing for my dog. So thank you for making me feel better.
And this is why I struggle with social media.
Yes. I mean, that's just it. It's so funny because it's like the whole influencer world is, and I know some people think that I'm an influencer. I don't think I am because I'm not very good at promoting things. I could tell you if you ask me, "Hey, have you tried this before?" I can tell you, "Yeah, I liked it because of this," or "I didn't really like it because of this." But it's not me like just constantly promoting products. It feels disingenuous to do that. It's just not something that I want to do. And also, this isn't my job. This is a glorified hobby that I do, and I enjoy doing it. And I know that from experience that when you try and turn it into a job, that's when that's when I say I have mixed feelings. When you try and turn the social media stuff into a job and you don't have a really good game plan for it, it can eat your soul. I mean, because I've seen people, there's a lot of people who have dogs and, like their dog is the face of their platform and they've got, they are very good at capturing really cute, funny moments. And, there was a dog, I think the dog passed on, Sherpa. It was a UK husky. There's a lot of husky pages that I follow because I love huskies. But, those are, they have, hundreds of thousands up to millions of followers and they are doing very well financially. I know that like with that Sherpa page, I think he was able to buy, I don't know if he bought a car or if he was gifted a car. I know he bought a new house, and I've seen a lot of pages being able to do that. So I get the desire to do it, but not every niche within the pet industry can do this. And also, it's like a lot of these huge pet pages, I don't see any of them that are feeding like raw. They might be feeding like gently cooked or something. So they might have a contract or something with, like Sundays or, Farmer's Dog or, one of the, it has to be like basically a huge company that can afford to work with influencers at that level.
Yeah.
But not many of the raw food companies are going to be, when I think of like RAR, we interviewed her this year. I don't see her, footing the bill for 10 influencers to feed her food exclusively where she's like, here you go. Here's this month's worth of food for your 4 big dogs. Yay.
Mhm.
And I'm not a good investment when it comes to things like that because since I don't constantly promote, I'm just not good. I don't know how people do it. I'm not good at it. That I don't, because I've had people want to offer me things and I've told them, it's like, no one is going to buy the food, or maybe a couple of people might buy it. I mean, I do better with supplements because I use them. And so it's part of what I'm doing. But as far as like a whole brand of food, it's too expensive to do commercial. And unfortunately, you need to be able to get really big companies to help you cover. But I mean, I heard a lot of rumors about how much money they made. I don't know how many of them were true or not true. Someone told me that they made like $25,000 a month from Chewy.com alone. And I'm like, why? And it's like, yeah, they just write them a check. And I'm like, really? Do they? How do you know this? And I can't remember what they told me, but I was like, how do you know this? Do they just tell people how much they make? Do they do a video about this? Are they supposed to tell people? Isn't this under contract? It's just weird. But I was like, it would be nice if Chewy.com sent me $25,000 a month. I'd just be kind of scared of what I'd have to do to earn that money. So, but yeah, someone told me that the reason why they switched, that's what I loved. I love a good conspiracy theory. God, it's fun. I mean, that's like my new reality TV. I don't even care. I have no taste for reality TV anymore because reality has become TV and it's just scary out there all the time. So I don't need Bravo to to tickle my silver hat brain. But someone told me, that they made $25,000 a month from Chewy.com, and they were able to buy a really expensive house because of it. But then Chewy.com, once they got used to the money, told them that they weren't going to pay them anymore until they started bashing Raw. And I was just like,
I have not heard
what?
that rumor.
I know. I was like, what? And I'm like, but Chewy, sells Raw. No, they sell freeze dried, but they don't sell Raw. And I'm like, no, they sell Raw because I set up multiple Chewy accounts because I'm a fraudster
For
to get the
Hunt
hunt away.
Yeah.
Yes. When they have the 50% off sale. I mean, so no, they sell Raw. So it's like, I don't know why they would do that, but who am I to know? I don't know. But yeah, that was the best one.
Well, I was
That
scrolling back. We had WinPro. They were one of the first episodes of the year. That feels like forever ago.
Oh God, it does. Yeah, WinPro has saved Buffy's butt. Gosh, that chewable is so amazing. I mean, she's doing so well.
Good.
She never licks her paws. I mean, usually if she starts itching, it's because I accidentally put something, because I'll get into a groove of adding things to meals, and I'll add some like something fermented into her dish, and I'm like, but I'm just like, one day won't kill her, and it doesn't. But yeah, she's doing really well. And my dogs know WinPro time. They around 7 o'clock, they're just staring at me, and I just go and it's a whole debacle of a performance as I give everyone their chews. But yeah,
And we had Dr. Margot Roman. Like, that was still like my
I
bucket list.
wonder how her case is going.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. I haven't looked it up in a while.
I know.
I know she did get her license back though.
Oh,
'Cause
fantastic.
The 2-year, the 2 years was up or something.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and speaking of lawsuits, there is also the Keto Pets Natural lawsuits. We got an update on that.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have to keep getting updates on that one.
But especially since that lady got an award for her stellar work.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, because we have not talked about that yet.
I mean, can you believe? Just like, wow, this is what we're doing now? So we're just not going to acknowledge the fact that the FDA came out and said they couldn't verify your claims, that the study that you had was fraught with errors. We're not going to talk about any. We're just going to stick with, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's Dr. Lisa Freeman, who was one of the vets who was pushing the whole, grain-free causes DCM thing. She was authoring all of these studies that are now being retracted and having lawsuits, and we've seen all these conspiracy emails and everything. And yeah, she was just given an award, I think it was by the AKC Canine Health Foundation, for canine health discovery of the year.
What did she discover?
That the diet related DCM.
Good Lord. I mean, granted. What I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine because we were talking about DCM. Because I was just like, oh my gosh, rice does not prevent DCM. And she's like, I know rice doesn't prevent DCM. But she's like, grain-free diets. And I'm like, but stop focusing on the grain-free. Let's talk about the ingredients they put in there because they remove the grains. That's what we're not talking about. We're not talking about the foods that had anti-nutrients that were blocking the absorption of taurine.
Yeah, all the peas and
the legumes and stuff. It's like no one talked. They say grain-free and they start there, and then they just start saying, oh, so if grain-free results in DCM, then I better add
grain.
You better add some rice to that raw, Kimberly, or else, good luck when your dog gets DCM. And it's like, that's what drives me crazy is that, I see this. It's funny because I see this a lot in politics where people will say something and they will say it in kind of a manipulative way and then back off and make it seem like, hey, I'm just posing a question here, or they just basically leave part of the equation out to lead you to believe something. And it's crazy because I've been noticing, gosh, this happens in the pet industry. I'm sure it happens in every industry, but in the human medical industry, we're constantly being given little snippets of information in a way in order to manipulate
Yes.
us into buying something. I mean, it's not because they want to help, because it's like if they truly, in my opinion, wanted to help dogs, then we would be having a conversation. It would be like, yes, the grain-free diets are causing an issue, and this is why, rather than focusing solely on, because I mean, I had people coming to my Facebook page telling me that raw diets cause DCM because they're high in sulfur. And I'm just like, can you provide support for that? Screw you, block. I mean, and it's just like, I mean, they had that crazy group where people were just absolutely insane. You know, people are sitting, and the thing about it is that because of how manipulative they were, I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of people out there that are just sort of like, DCM isn't a real thing. I mean, it's sort of like COVID, where, you know, it's just an exaggerated flu. It's not a real thing, because you guys manipulated and lied and bullied people over a topic when all you had to do was just be honest. They turned it into, you know, I want to say a PowerPoint presentation in order to win elections, to sell vaccines, and to manipulate an entire globe of people, when all they had to do is say, hey, guys, this is scary. We need to start thinking about how we're going to protect ourselves and each other. And it's the same thing with DCM. It's like, hey, guys, this is scary. There are some dogs out there that are what's the word?
Predisposed.
Yeah, predisposed to getting DCM. Let's start talking about what we can do to protect them. But instead, they use it as an opportunity to sell food that has grains in them. And we're seeing those, we saw the charts of these record, sales during that time, and how it turned around and impacted other smaller companies.
Yep.
Because people were afraid to feed the food because of what they did. And it's just like, why can't they ever just give us the information without having some type of secret motivation behind it? Like, why does everything have to be monetized, people? But,
Big pharma, big pet food,
yes.
big agriculture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is. So
I was talking to someone recently, and they had mentioned conspiracy theories, and I said, like, I've always been really obsessed with like the JFK assassination story, and I had listened to a podcast that Rob Reiner did, of all people, who's passed away recently, and where he went through all of like the documents that were unredacted.
mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was like really into this, and then they were just kind of like, "Oh, well, then why was he killed?" And I'm like, "Well, it's kind of a whole big long story, and it has to do with like the military-industrial complex, and it has to do with Cuba, and it has to do with, and and I'm like I can't just tell you in like 2.3 seconds, like,
No.
oh, well, it was this, and anyway, it was just it's like you can never quite explain things like super succinctly
Yes.
in a way that and I feel like those of us who want to get to the truth and the facts of situations, of health, of food, of what's really going on, it's like the other side seems to just have so much better like sound bites.
Yes, exactly. I mean, well, and that's just it, is that, and then of course we live in a world where everyone has a 2-second attention span.
Right.
And if you aren't delivering the information with cuts every few seconds, and,
And like a dance or
exactly, I was watching something. It was a YouTube video that was just talking about how everyone is turning everything into content right now. And it brought up this video, and the video is years old, of this woman who is in the hospital she just had a baby. Her baby is sick, and her baby's in the caption, and she's in the hospital room, and she's doing a dance. But on the screen, she is words talking about her baby's illness. And it's just like, yes. It was one of those, like the Mormon wives thing, that the Real Lives of Mormon Wives. I don't know what that show is called, but it was one of those ladies. And it's just sort of like, at the time, that was shocking. Whereas since then, people are now, people go, they put everything on. So everything is an opportunity for social media. I saw a video of this man. He's making his own computer. And so he was making the screen, and he did something wrong and the screen shattered, but it was still in the frame. So he carried it over the sink and he asked his wife, "Hey, can you come over and help me?" And so she saw what was happening and immediately grabs her phone and starts filming him. And she's like, "Okay, explain what's going on." And he says, like, "Are you kidding? You're filming me right now?" But during this, at some point in time, maybe I didn't watch the whole thing, but she stopped, and maybe she helped him. I don't know. But she uploaded this. It's just like, this is where we are now. Nobody cares about the truth unless it's going to help them go viral. And what cracks me up is that there was a time when I thought people did this because you go viral, you get a lot of money. But no one's getting any money because the social media platforms have realized we don't have to pay you anything. You just need the validation of a ton of strangers telling you how amazing you are. And even if they're telling you how horrible you are, you can turn around and turn that into content and talk about, "Oh my God, look how mean this person was to me." And it's insane. And so now, it's funny because I commented someplace. I don't know whose page it was. Maybe it was Brian's page. I don't know. But I commented that with so many people believing in conspiracy theories, it's a wonder that the pet food industry is as successful as it is. Because it's like, it's so easy to say, "What are they doing?" And be like, "I don't trust them." But it's like, you guys don't trust anyone else, but now you trust the pet food industry. Do better. But yeah, so.
I have said that to Tim about some of the podcasts that he listens to. Like, he loves one called The Higher Side Chats. And I'll be like, they need to have, like, Susan Thixton on here. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
that's real life stuff that's affecting everyday people with how they take care of their pets, instead of, like, I don't know, aliens or whatever. You know what I mean? Because you're just like,
Well, especially because, she's had people follow
yes,
her and
yes,
tap her phone.
yes.
Gosh, I remember when Rodney, he said something, he did a video about Nylabone, and they were, like, going to his family's house.
Oh my God.
I think I'm okay, so forgive me if I got this completely wrong, but I feel like they didn't go to his home, but they went to his parents' home or something. But it was, like, really weird. Like, what? Nylabone? And maybe that's why. It's because, you don't think of, what, you guys got thugs? I mean, Nylabone? But it's just like, they clearly something's going on. And I feel like this is years ago. Today, the thugs can be just people's followers.
Or even, like, bots and,
Yes.
stuff like that.
It's insane. The whole thing is so insane. It's I I'm astounded. I'm astounded. But yeah, it's gotten to the point where I don't, and I'm trying not to be this person, but I don't trust a lot of things. And because, like, I don't believe that veterinarians are being bought out and that they're making tons of money from kibble companies. Again, for me, I need to see them driving around in really nice cars and living in really nice houses before I figure out that, oh, Purina helps you buy a house. Good for
My
you.
vet drives a, like, 20-year-old Honda.
My last vet used to shop at Walmart for, like, everything. That was her. I would go into Walmart and she could find her at Walmart. It's just, the vets aren't riding, high around here, but, people want to make you think that. But it's just, there's a vet that I follow. Gosh, I really want to like her, but I'm really having a hard time liking her. But she asked the question of, or she posted something and it was supposed to be tongue in cheek. And I feel like her followers are other veterinarians because she posted something that was sort of like, where it was a video of her looking off like, this is weird type of facial expression. And it says something like, so you'll believe an influencer, but you won't believe your veterinarian. And so I was like, oh, here you go. This is the reason why people struggle with bite. And I can't remember what I said, but I said something. And just basically was talking about my own experience with Rodrigo. And it's like, when you have a veterinarian who won't listen to you, who isn't open to new information, who's making your dog sicker. And, and then, when you look on social media and you see veterinarians tearing down pet parents for sport and for, clout, basically, it doesn't feed your willingness to trust them because you realize they're not on your side, or at least it makes it feel this way. And we talked, and she was perfectly nice. But then I went back and read I sent it to you. I did send it to you. I went back and read the comments, and there is a comment where someone did leave like a really thoughtful comment, and she's replied back. I can't remember what she said, but it was so snarky and so rude. And it was just like, there, you just proved our point.
And then she deleted it because by the time I went and checked, I could tell a bunch of stuff had been deleted. And you're like, oh, I have screenshots.
Yeah, I have screenshots. But yeah, it was just like, come on. And the thing about it is that, again, I bet you it would be frustrating to be a veterinarian today. Everything's expensive. You have $500,000 in student loans. You're trying to run a business and you want to take care of animals. You have the candy companies knocking at your door, sniffing at your feet. And if they bought you out, or if you're working for them, you can only spend 15 minutes with a client and you have to push all these drugs. And maybe even though you want to take time and figure out what's going on, but they're not allowing you to do so.
Or to do so, the diagnostics and lab work are so insane and your client can't afford them.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, so there's so many things to be frustrated about. And then you go on social media and you have a bunch of, smart ass upstarts who are telling you that you're being bought out and that, and it's just, or even worse, I could not imagine, because it gives me the itches is when I look in the social media groups and I see people diagnosing things. Or, because again, going to the vet is expensive, but like, I think we've spoken about this before. I saw it on social media probably a year or so ago, where someone they were told in a raw feeding group that to give your dog frozen bones for teeth cleaning. He gave him frozen femur bones. And cracked like 4 teeth. And so he's in another group saying, is there a holistic treatment for broken teeth? And people are like, no, there's a trip to the vet and having them pulled. And, and I know that with Zoe had 2 teeth pulled and it was $1,400. But he thought he was doing everything right. But there's so much bad information. And the sad part is that if you're a vet and you go into these groups and you start saying, hey, be careful, people are going to be like, oh, well, they just da-da-da-da. And they probably have, they won't listen to you. I mean, gosh, they barely listen to just regular people, which is, so, yeah, I'm glad I'm an accountant.
Yeah, it does feel like we're at this increasingly odd place with trust of vets and trust of the pet industry. And quite frankly, I believe we're in this place for a reason, like a valid reason,
Yeah.
But like, kind of like what's going to be the tipping point, I feel like the industries need to earn back consumer trust. And, I would venture that we're equally as off the rails with human health, but I feel like people are almost more likely to go to bat for their pets before themselves.
Yeah. Well, and
maybe it's because we are all, like 90% of us anyway, are all directly paying as opposed to going through insurance companies. And it's like I'm paying you this out of my pocket. Like I
yeah.
expect.
Yeah. Hi, Zoe. Hi, Zoe. Zoe's about to bark at me. What? Potty break. She has such a funny, just cute little gray face. It cracks me up, and she's so funny. It's funny to me because she does all the same things she did as a puppy. Like when she wants something, she comes and she has a growl and it builds up to a bark. And she does this thing where she stomps her feet. And it's so funny because she's done that since she was a puppy.
Oh, I love it. I feel like Nino has started looking even more gray to me recently. My grumpy old man, as I call him.
But my dogs took off today and went into the neighbor's property. Zoe didn't. Apollo came right back because he was like, I feel like we're supposed to be over here. I just remember getting in trouble. But surprisingly, Bella, who is very well behaved, was gone. And I'm going walking to look for her, and I saw her over on the neighbor's property, and I was just like, get over here now. She comes running back, just big happy face because she found tons of new smells. And with Buffy following her, it was just like, thankfully they weren't like outside with their dog, which is what I was worried about. Usually they never do that. They're usually such good dogs. Oh, speaking of such good dogs, Buffy chased a deer a
Oh,
couple weeks ago. Yes. I went outside with the dogs. And so they're like, just running around on the property. And I went to go throw something in the trash, which is around on the other side of the house. And I was coming back. I saw this huge deer, and the deer's just looking at me like, oh, so you're outside. And I'm like, oh shit, so you're here. So I was just like, okay. And I went and got the dogs, and I ran rounding them up and getting them in the house. And I couldn't find Buffy anywhere. And so I'm blowing my whistle and I'm calling for her. And then all of a sudden I see the deer like doing the hopping run. And Buffy like chasing. And the deer was so much bigger than her. It was outstanding. Thankfully, when I called her, she stopped and came right towards me. But she was just like, did you see that? Did you see what I was chasing?
that's those pit bulls for you.
I know. It's like she's a monster. Just an absolute, she's so adorable, but it's just such a little monster. Mm. So,
Well, we've been doing a tricks class because, I didn't have enough else going on. I decided to do that during the holidays too.
I think that is so amazing.
Good, I'm very proud. And so one of the things that we're doing is kind of like a figure eight, like where they weave kind of in between your legs. And so of course Daisy Girl is like a total rock star with it. Try it with Nino, and he got scared and peed.
Like, I don't know what's happening. I don't understand why I just can't get the treat. I was coming over here for a treat. I don't understand.
Nino's not as much of a fan of the tricks.
It's like I'm so stressed out.
I know he does. He gets very stressed out. Like he likes the games. Like when we do our pattern games, he likes the games. He likes knowing what to do, but he does not. He's not a fan of. He's like, I do not perform. Like I'm very anxious.
Well, I did teach Zoe. I have to get back onto it, but I have steps because she can jump onto the sofa, but she cannot jump onto the bed. The bed is just a little bit, probably an inch or so higher, and she just can't do it. So I got her some steps, and she was just like, yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with those. But I basically spent a day, or not a day, it was like 15 minutes, teaching her how to go up and down the steps. And so she went up twice and down once. And it was so much fun watching her. I mean, it just basically took some patience where I just basically got her to be near the steps and then to get her front paws on the steps. I mean, I think the first thing was, 'cause she was like, I'm not coming up there. And so I put her paw on the step and just gave her a treat. And then she put her paw down, so I put her paw back and gave her a treat. And I did that 3 times before she was like, so if I leave my paw here, it's like, yep, you get treats. Leave your paw there. So that was like the first step. And it was just doing everything one step at a time, and until she was like, oh, okay, so if I do this, I'll get treats. And so I think I'm going to go and get like a variety of different types of treats to kind of make a meal. And that will be her meal time, is us getting up and
That's
down
some
the stairs.
enrichment right there.
Yeah. And so I think we're going to do that until she feels more comfortable with the stairs. I mean, because she doesn't really jump on the bed that often. She has her own bed that she prefers to lay on, and then she likes her spot on the sofa. But I just want to do that. And then I try to find something. I have a puzzle game for all of them that I'm going to start using. And I want to find just different things for each one to give them that time, because it's so fun. The time goes by so fast, and it's so easy to get comfortable with. It's like, oh, they're fine. But when she was getting it, it was just like
So exciting.
she was lighting up, and I was like so excited, and it was just like she was like, okay, what's next? What's next? And it was just like it was kind of really cool. So
Yes, I've just been obsessed with that. And this girl makes me have to do these things because every night after dinner, it's like, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna
that is so much cool. I mean, you showed me the tricks, and it was flawless. It was like she's been doing it all along. It was
Yeah.
so well. I mean, I loved it. It's just like, oh my gosh.
You know what's hilarious though? We can't do rollover because she can roll over, but, like, not as, like, a training,
Mhm.
cue and and the way that we were teaching it, she's really goofy about being touched in certain ways, and it was
Mhm.
kinda like, I don't know, to kinda drag the treat, like, down the side of them to get them to kinda look that way and then kinda
Okay.
do and it was like, she did not like that. She would jump up and be like, "Why are you, like" so it's so funny. It's like, I can't teach it the way or I can't do it with her the way that we're being taught to do it, and so I'm just like, we just don't do that. Like, we've learned to to do, like, an army crawl, sit pretty.
Wow.
We can do circle like spins in each direction. So we do spin for clockwise and then circle for counterclockwise. And then what else have we been doing? We've been learning some other ones too. And I got these little like these like small discs that they like you teach them to like touch with their paw and then you can
Mhm.
teach them to do different things. So like she's been learning how to cross her paws
No.
with using like this targeting disc thing and yeah, so we've been doing some fun stuff
That is so
and I
cool.
can just like do them real quick with her like after breakfast or when we're when I switch them to sides of the house and stuff it's like I can just do a couple of them real quick and it's like a nice way to break up the day and
It would be fun to do, especially this time of year when you can't get outside as much.
yes. Yeah.
It would be so cool to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have, like, a whole thing, it's like, yeah, we have puzzles, we have the nail scratch board, we have our pattern games, now we have our tricks, we have our nose work, it's like, I had to, like, mix it all up because like, she's just always looking at me like, "What are we gonna do now?"
Oh, but speaking of nails, my friend let me borrow her Dremel because she was like, "Oh, it's really quiet. You should borrow it." And I borrowed it and didn't give it back because she wasn't using it. And I love it. So I still clip everyone's nails, but Bella, she does not like. I mean, it's just a nightmare to clip her nails. She tolerates the Dremel.
Oh, wow.
And it's crazy, but it's really quiet. I mean, it does make a noise, but it's really quiet. And so I've just been doing because my dogs, I trim everyone's nails each week. And so I still trim her nails, but I'm able to just do it like on the very edge, like sort of slice it off a little bit. And then I use the Dremel to round them out.
Yeah.
And she lets me do it. And it's just like, it's so cool. I can now Dremel. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about doing the Dremel.
So what's coming up for 2026?
2026. So we do have some interviews coming up.
Yeah.
I need to follow up on some people to get to schedule some interviews.
Well, we'll be going to Super Zoo,
We'll be
right?
going to Super Zoo,
And Feed Real.
and we'll be going to Feed Real. And this will be the first time in 2 years that we're in the same place.
Yeah.
And it'll be your first time going to Feed Real.
Yes. Yeah.
And what I'm excited about is that if I'm invited back to do a panel, I'm excited because I encourage them to find people
To
that
mix it up.
already disagree on something. And the topic that I want to do, and it's making me so excited because Brian is showing me, Brian of what is it? Raw Dog Food, the company. He is very passionate about, the fact that people are pushing the balance, and he and I go back and forth in a friendly manner about this topic. And to have a panel of people talking about balance and, like whether, basically, is this do we need to worry about this? At what point in time are we going too far? At what point in time are we turning people off? Where should we be correcting people? Where are our mistakes? And oh my gosh, I mean, I would love to have him. I would love to have Chelsea Kent back. If not her, then Susan Rucker. And I would love to have like him, like Chelsea and or Susan, and then just someone who does meal formulation, and then someone who just is very into prey model raw and is very up on just basically feeding prey model raw, whether it be someone who owns a company that, like My Pet Carnivore or Raw Feeding Miami, or someone who just that's what they do. I would love to see that discussion. Gosh, it'd be cool if we can get like Dr. Lonsdale
Yeah.
there
That's what I was
to,
just thinking. It's like
to
he's
talk about,
amazing.
because it's like, I feel like there's, of course, room for all of us in the way we feed. I mean, I think there are many directions to a healthy dog, but, the big question that always comes up is, when are we going too far? Because there's always those people who are basically my way or the highway. And they're adding stress. I mean, I remember years ago, I spoke to someone who basically could not feed raw because she said whenever she went to go feed her dog, she would basically have a panic attack because she had been in this group where they had scared her so
Oh,
badly
wow.
about doing it wrong
Oh, wow.
and what would happen if she didn't do it exactly right. And she wasn't able to get all of the ingredients that they were recommending in the meals that they were telling people to feed. And she just didn't know what to do. And she couldn't afford commercial. So, and she was just sort of like, and I don't want to kill my dog and I'll kill my dog if I feed. I mean, it was just like she was in such a dark place. And I'm just like, what is happening in this group? And that was actually back when I did I did a video on YouTube about how balance is bullshit, because it was like this pressure that people were putting on other people. But it's like there has to be some type of place where, yes, we understand that we do need to meet some nutrient levels. We do need to recognize that there are certain nutrients that, an 80-10-10 diet isn't going to meet, and acknowledge that although we can look to nature and look to wild animals for what they eat, but recognize that as people who have pets, it's like my dogs don't eat the eyeballs and the brains and the guts and all of the things that a wild animal would eat with their prey. So they're not getting what they need. Also, wild animals are not subjected to the same stressors and toxins that my dogs are subjected to. And I mean, there's so many, my dogs are all spayed and neutered. So how has that changed their nutrient levels or their needs? And there are just so many things that we have to think of. My dogs don't get as much exercise as a dog that's wild. There's just so many things that we have to think about. And I just think it would be a fantastic conversation. I
Yeah, I
really,
love that. I know that's like the dream list, like the
I
dream
know.
right
It's like
there.
Dr. Tom Lonsdale and Dr. Susan Recker and Chelsea Kent. And I mean, because Chelsea Kent has all of the data from Parsley Pet.
Yeah.
Or, if it's not like Steve Brown. I mean, just so many people who on one side look at the nutrients, and then people who look at nature and just basically let's stop, let's get out of the way of our animals and we're making it too hard. And it's like, where is the balance where we can still we can still lean on, we can look to science, but we can also start with nature and use them both to basically feed healthier dogs. That's what I hope for. That's my dream for 2026.
Let's manifest that right now.
That, and at the end of the year, it's what is it? Doomsday. Marvel is coming back. Avengers Doomsday. I'm really excited about that. So that's about it.
All right, everybody. Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, you guys.
See you next year.
I love that.